Hey guys, and welcome to another WoW Weekly with Myst. And for this week, we have over in retail, PvP Brawl, Warsong Scramble, World Quests will be the weekly, and Dark Moon Fair is in effect. As for things you might want to finish up before reset happens tomorrow, you have the arenas weekly quest that maybe you might want to finish if you haven't done that. Also, your world boss kill for your 250 anima. Mythic keys if you are doing your KSM or just looking for some gear. And also, of course, weekly transmog and mount runs. As for Classic, I have stopped doing the what to do before reset. Now that we're in the expansion, there's really, nothing major. There's not like a list like retail has when it comes to what to do before reset. So, yeah, it's just your basic do whatever PvP stuff you want done before the weekends. And, it's a completely different game over there, right? Like, it's a little more casual. There's not so much of a deadline for multiple things. So for my goals and progression, goal-wise, I hadn't really made any, mainly because TVC on Classic WoW was just coming out. I'm not one of those people that's like, must be 70 in first week. I've done TVC before, back in 2007, and, I've done the level grind. I played a lot of hours back then, so I didn't really want to put any goals out there just because I've done it, and I kind of want to just run through it a little more casually this time. And so I've been kind of all over the place. I've got my druid out in Outlands. My mage is also in Outlands, and I've got some low B characters that I've been leveling here and there. Hunter is one, very low level, just started the character. And yeah, so I really don't have any goals. I'm just having fun in Classic WoW, doing whatever I feel like doing that particular day. I'm not really focusing anything. I probably won't have a 70 for a while because I'm kind of like all over the place. One day I play the druid, one day I play the mage. I have no, getting to 70 quick goals. So with that said, probably won't have very many goals in the WoW Weekly videos until we're back over on retail doing 9.1. Just because retail's a little more... it's more of a goal thing, there's only so much you can do in Classic, and retail's, 16 years of content, so it's a little easier to have goals over there rather than Classic. So, with that said, no goals, but I did do some progression, and it's funny because it's always the weeks that I don't set goals that I seem to accomplish things that, are kind of goals in the back of my head. So this week, that was over on retail, which is even funnier because I've been playing a lot of Classic WoW this week. But over on retail, I did complete my KSM, so that was nice. Yeah, I've got the mount. I'm still a little disturbed that the next season's mount's just basically a reskin. One more progression that I did do is the mission boards. I've had all the pets and 3 out of 4 mounts for over a month now. I've been spending the last month solid pretty much every day trying to get my followers up to a percentage that they could knock out the final mount, and it was quite the grind. It was like the first 3 were fairly simple to do. If you're at a certain level, my characters were like 30, 40 around that time. But then you get on the last one, it's literally like a level 60 mission quest, follower mission quest. And I pretty much had to have my guys like in the level 45 to 50 range to even do that quest. So I finally did it. So here's the mount here. I don't mind it, but I have the Theater of Pain one, which I'll show you here as well. I like the Theater of Pain one better. I think the green one is better than the brown one, but at least it's done. Finally, we're at a place where I can just kind of gradually do the mission boards, and I can maybe hold on to most of that anima now and put it towards my buildings, because that was kind of the struggle for a long time, was that I was so busy using it for missions on my mission table that it was taking away from holding on to it for the upgrades. So now maybe I will just stop doing the mission boards and just keep holding on to it. Because a lot of those anima ones, it's not like a huge increase. And yeah. And then some missions take like 50 anima, and yeah. So I think I might just, I still gotta level the followers higher. But I think for now I'm gonna hold off, and I'm trying to get my Garden for Night Fae at like max rank, and so we're doing good so far. I'm about to upgrade it to the 4th one, and then I just got upgraded to the 5th one after that, and then we'll be good. So, and then I can go back to working on the other crap. But yeah, so yeah, that is all my accomplishments for the week. It is quite humorous that they are all in retail, because I have maybe played 2 days of retail this week. Nonetheless, I'm pretty happy with that, and I feel like I don't really have to pay attention too much over there until 9.1. So let's head over to news. We're going to start with some classic WoW news. Okay, so on to some classic WoW news. The first bit of news is that there are some free character transfers being offered. This was posted 5 days ago, so you may want to look at the servers if you didn't know about this. This is something they don't really give a whole lot of notice on, and they don't tell you when it's ending. So definitely, if you're interested in this, check like right now to see if you can do the character transfers. So basically, Faralina to Incendius is available to all characters. Faralina to Scarum, available to all characters. And then for Horde only, you can go from Mankrik to Westfall, Mankrik to Windseeker, Whitemane to Anathema, and Whitemane to Thunder Fury. So as you can probably guess there, Faralina, Mankrik, and Whitemane are overpopulated, and they're trying to solve the population so that people aren't, in queue. My personal suggestion for this is, if you are part of one of those 3 servers and you like being part of those 3 servers, don't care about the queue times. I don't know how they are right now, but launch always has queue times for those kind of servers, highly populated. Launches happen now. We're now like a week into it, and things are getting better, So if you do truly like those servers, don't take the free transfer just to avoid a queue. Just, wait it out. The queue will get better. People will fade off. I guarantee you in like a month, the population of people who are playing right now is going to lower dramatically. The thing is, there's the classic players that love classic and will play no matter what, and when they start getting bored, they'll just make another character. It's literally how I've been playing WoW for 16 years. When you get bored of something, you don't leave the game, you just move on to something else in the game, right? And that's the typical classic WoW population. They'll start making alts and all that, right? And they'll raid and all that. But for a lot of, people that maybe aren't that in love with classic WoW, they'll leave. And that is gonna help the population. And yeah, so only do these free transfers if you absolutely feel like you need to be off those servers. Also, keep in mind that there's a couple of restrictions to why you might not be able to do them. And that is that if you're a leader of a guild, you are gonna need to not be the leader of a guild to do the transfer. If you have items up for auction, you're going to have to get that all settled. Also, in-game mail. I'm sure we all know that one because that one's the most popular thing that will stop you from doing a lot of stuff. So clear your mail. If you're going to, say, a PvP faction that you already have the opposite faction on, that would cause issues. And of course, keep in mind that if you love the name that you have, more reason to not leave because your name's probably taken on whatever other server. So definitely keep that in mind that you may have to do a name change. Now, on the topic of world firsts, it did not take long. So the first 70 was the day of launch. And then it was only really 2 days after launch where Progress, which is a guild over on the Burning Crusade Classic, they had already cleared Kara, Mag, and Gruel's Lair. As for people racing to 70 and all that, definitely not my style. I like to enjoy the game and, experience it, even if I've already experienced it before. But teach their own. I feel like the more important thing here is that everyone's having fun playing the game that they're playing. And if that's what brings you fun, then I guess that's okay. I feel like that's also what brings negativity into the community. And why that is that when these people rush through this content, all of a sudden they're bored early. And it's because they've been doing, this content since like day 2 of the launch, right? So, it's like on one hand, I want people to just kind of do what brings them enjoyment. But also, I also kind of hope that they'll just, if they get bored, they just move on to some other game or something, because most people aren't running and clearing Kara on day 2. Next up in Classic WoW news is a couple of things that will be coming available on June 14th. So on June 14th, we will have Doomwalker and Kazakh world bosses. They are not available right now, but they will be starting on June 14th. And I will mention this again in next week's WoW Weekly just to remind you guys. And also, Ranked Arena will start on June 14th as well. Okay, so that concludes the Classic WoW news section. So now let's head over to retail news. So the first thing is that we now, on the PTR patch, we now have a Reconnect button for when you disconnect from WoW. I feel like this was a long time coming. Definitely took them a long time to think about adding that. And that would be nice to have over on Classic WoW as well. But yeah, you will soon start seeing the Reconnect so that you don't have to close your client out and then reopen it. And yeah, so that will be a nice little addition. Next up, we have some more info on the new Mythic Plus season. So it's going to be called the Tormented Mythic Plus season. And basically, there's going to be 4 additional lieutenants that will be throughout the dungeon. And they have very few abilities and are pretty easy to kill, but they may be kind of out of your way to kill them. Some additional info on these lieutenants is that they do not reset health on wipe. They have true sight, and they do not give count. Each lieutenant has a unique aura that will apply to the entire party while the lieutenant is engaged before the final boss. When the final boss is pulled, each lieutenant that is still alive will apply its aura to the final boss, making it much harder. So definitely might be worth going out of your way to kill these lieutenants. The auras are 50% movement speed reduction, damage over time effect, 50% reduced healing, and 50% increased physical damage taken. These auras will apply individually for every lieutenant that you left alive. Leave all 4 lieutenants up, and you'll have to deal with a final boss that applies all 4 auras to you. So, yeah, that could make for a pretty tough final boss. So, just a look at all the lieutenants. This one is Incinerator Arcoloth, and his aura is Soulforge Flame, which does fire damage over time. His other abilities is Scorching Blast, which is a void zone that leaves a patch of fire on the floor. Melt Soul is a dispellable magic debuff that increases your fire damage taken by 100%. So Incinerator Arcoloth is pretty easy kill. You just want to make sure that you have extra room to kind of work with, because he leaves all these fire patches, as you can see in the picture here. And there'll be like 3 at a time. Every 3rd patch, the oldest one will die out. So yeah, 3 fire patches at a time. The next one is Oro's Cold Heart. His aura is a Chilling Presence, which causes players to have 50% reduced movement speed. His other abilities is Biting Cold, which is the caster afflicts a player with Biting Cold, inflicting 12 frost damage every 1 second to the target and any nearby players for 10 seconds. Also, Frost Lance, the caster blasts a target area with ice, inflicts 40 frost damage, and knocks back any players in the impact area. He is the easiest one to deal with out of the 4. I don't have pictures for the last 2, but I will still explain them. So Sagadon the Breaker is going to be your next lieutenant. And his aura is Intimidation, which increases physical damage taken by all players by 50%. His other abilities is Massive Smash. The caster smashes the ground, inflicting 40 physical damage to players within 16 yards and knocking them back. He also has Lumbering Might, which reduces movement speed by 50%, causes the caster to inflict 200% increased physical damage. This lieutenant really only autos the tank, as the rest of his abilities are avoidable, so he is rumored to be pretty easy as well. And the last lieutenant will be Executioner Veroth. His aura is Thanatophobia, which causes players to receive 50% less healing. His other abilities is Decapitate, which deals high physical damage to the tank and leaves a short bleed effect. He also has Raise, which deals high physical damage to the target and nearby targets, leaving a short bleed effect. This one is rumored to be a rough boss and the toughest of all 4 due to the 50% reduced healing and the bleeds. And some of those bleeds are unavoidable, so you do have to deal with some of them. Now, also, there is going to be some anima powers in these Mythic Pluses for the next season. So when you defeat a lieutenant, your entire party gets to choose an anima power for the rest of the run. The anima powers are role dependent. In addition, the anima powers are not RNG from early reports, with players of the same role getting the same offerings of anima powers from each lieutenant. I have also screenshotted, I'm not going to read through all of it, so feel free to pause, but I have screenshotted the affix-related anima powers, and also the general anima powers. Also, there has been a nerf on Mythic Sire Denathrius. So basically, the nerf is that Phase 3 will be starting at 37% now. It was 40%, so a slight nerf there, I guess. Also, over on the PTR, the Tazavesh Megadungeon. It was previously showing that you would be able to upgrade the gear you get from there, which would be 210 item level, and then you'd upgrade it 12. They have changed that, and now no longer upgradable, but instead of it being 210 gear, it's 226. Also, although some of us probably already predicted this due to how the Mega Dungeon worked in Operation Mechagon, but Tazavesh Megadungeon has been kind of hinted towards having a hard mode difficulty. I think we saw that one coming, though, because that one went pretty well for the community in the last expansion. So it honestly was just a matter of time. And the last piece of retail news I have is on Maelie the Wanderer. So I did show off this mount in a, new mounts coming in 9.1 video I had done. But we didn't know the source. We do now. So Maelie the Wanderer, the mount is actually going to be called Reigns of the Wanderer. This is the mount right here, and how you get her is it'll be out in Korthia. It's going to be quite similar to Blanchy. So basically, all you're doing is returning her to her owner. You do need to do this 6 times, and then you'll get the quest that gives you the mount. Personally, it's easy to obtain, so obviously I'll go after it. But I'm kind of tired of these unicorn mounts. Like, I loved Wild Dream Runner, which was more or less the first one that we encountered back in Legion through the Paragon cache. And then also there was the puzzle one, which was purple, and I've loved that one ever since. And even the blue one that you got from Rep. And I guess there's the Ascended Skymane that looks pretty much like that. But yeah, honestly, I'm kind of done now, like that they're pretty and all, but I want a new mount, not a reskin. So I don't know. I guess at least it's easy, right? It would be worse if it was like this super tough, time consumption. And you gotta reskin, kind of like KSM will be next season, right? It's gonna be twice the amount of work for basically the same mount. Because it's a reskin, right? So, I don't know. I wish they would stop reskinning these mounts and just be creative and come up with a new mount. Okay, so that concludes this week's WoW Weekly. I hope you enjoyed. I hope everyone that's playing Classic TBC has had a great launch week. And we will see you in the next one. Or maybe we'll see you in stream. I will be on stream tomorrow. And on the topic of streams, this is actually my birthday week. So on Friday, I'm gonna do a little birthday stream. Nothing too special, but, I can't go out for it. So I, want to do a birthday stream to kind of chill with people. And that's the end of this video. So have a good one, guys. Bye.